Well, g'day, good morning and welcome to the channel. I'm out in the field with my good mate Brian. The reason I'm here is I released my R6 Mark II review and everyone said try the Sigma lens on the R6 Mark II, so that's exactly what I'm doing today. So Brian has kindly lent me the 100 to 500, so we'll just whack this on the R6 Mark II. We're just going to have a bit of fun. We're at the Winton wetlands. We were hoping for a nice sunrise, but it just didn't quite happen. But there's plenty of cockatoos about, there's a few grebes, so we're definitely going to photograph some birds. I want to see if this lens is going to pulse like it does on the other Canon bodies. This morning's just about having a bit of fun and just enjoying this lens and seeing what sort of shots we can get. So let's get set up and get going. All right, so what I'm going to start with is on a tripod, just to give me that little bit of stability. I'm actually using the Sirui PH20 and the Sirui, AR6II. So Sirui's kindly sent me these. I'm very appreciative of that. There's a link in the description for a discount on the gimbal if you're interested, and we'll just see how they go. So we'll get set up. So I often get asked how we attach these lenses to these gimbals. Well, Brian's got this foot on this lens, and it's quite a big one. The longer the better, because it's easier to balance. If this foot's too short, often you won't get the correct balance on the gimbal. So just make sure you've got a nice big foot. You can buy them from Amazon or whatever. Slide it in, it just locks in, and then we tighten it up. We need the EF to RF adapter to make this work. Noisy cockatoos. Obviously using the R6 Mark II. Let's whack it on there. Okay, so I've just added the Ninja on top so I can record what I'm looking at, which means I obviously need to balance it, so it's just way too heavy. So we'll see if we can get it forward. All right, that's good to me. So what I'm seeing is some cockatoos. The sun's coming up this way, so I'm trying to look for a silhouette, and I'd love for the crest to be up on the cockatoo and get it backlit. So it's just a matter of trying to find a bird. I can kind of see one there. Let's see. We've got a bird with its crest up. Oh, this is quite nice. So we've got a cockatoo with some amazing cloud going past. It looks kind of amazing. I think I like it. Why am I at F13? These clouds are very cool. They're moving very quick. Oh, there we go. We've got a crest up. So I'm currently at ISO 400, 1/800th of a second, 7.1. Got some amazing clouds. 40 frames per second, which is probably too many. So I've just gone for a horizontal, just because this bird's on a tall perch. Try and get some of the those cool clouds. So it's really important to constantly be moving around and just looking, and I think if I move this way, the shot might look a bit better. So let's go and do that. I don't know if you can actually see, I don't know if you can see the bird, but it's up here. And we've got more sky now, so I would like the bird to do something, would be nice. That sky is just something else. I have to admit that this wider, very interesting, is something that I've been working on, and you know, I don't mind a bird on a stick, but it's this sort of shot that just is very interesting to me. I'm liking it a lot. There's a bit of a rainbow in the sky. So as you can see by the sun on my face, the sun's coming up. Just over here, there's a little pond and there's some grebes. With this light, I'm gonna lay down and try and get some shots of these grebes. We might just have to walk through a little bit of mud. Okay, so I'm now gonna go and lay down next to the water to try and photograph these grebes. I've got my trusty ground pod that I've used in numerous videos, and I've actually got the Sirui, I think this is the PH10. I did actually buy this one with my own money, but it's just a small kit, so I'll just transfer over to this, and we'll get over through this mud and see if we can't get some shots of these grebes. All right. All right. Okay. So where I want to get to is right here, and there's some grebes in here. So my plan is to lay here. We've got the sun coming this way. It's just that this is all water and mud, so I might just have to walk down here and around, see how we go. I'll go in first, Brian, and see if I sink.
Yeah, it might be a bit soft in there, I think.
See if we go crashing down. We should be right, I think. No, we'll be right. If you want to set yourself up here anywhere, Brian, and I'll... All right, so we've got a few grebes on the pond. They're quite tame. They're not scared of us by any means. So all I need to do is get down nice and low, hence why we've got the ground pod, and just wait for the grebes to come in, and the sun will hopefully light them up, and we'll try and get a few shots. Grebes right here. It's just, oh, the sun's gone behind a cloud. So the sun, oh no. My sort of worst nightmare has happened. If we go around this way, unfortunately we've got a blanket of cloud which has blocked our sunlight, which is a bit of a bummer. Just gonna have to work in low light, I suppose. Make sure I'm out of your way, Brian. Oh wow, there are a lot of mozzies here. Nice light on there now. Not sure why it can't find the eye there. Why is it going in and out of focus? So I've been trying the autofocus of the R6 Mark II with the Sigma on these grebes with the eye tracking and the spot with tracking, and unfortunately it's almost worse, I think, than the R7 or the R6. It just can't stick to the subject, and you could see that in the viewfinder footage. All I'm doing is holding down AF on, which should track, it should stick to the eye, but it's just coming in and out of focus, and it's pretty obvious. So it's a real bummer actually. It's a real shame. I was hoping that perhaps the improved autofocus of this camera would make the pulsing less of an issue on this lens, but it actually almost looks like it's amplified it. So again, not sure what's going on. I know that the readout speed of this camera is faster. There's more autofocus calculations. There's more communication between the camera and the lens. That might be just overwhelming the lens and just confusing it even more, possibly. I'm not 100% sure. Again, this may vary from lens to lens. This is the only Sigma 150-600 I have used. I know some of you don't appear to have an issue, others do, so it's somewhat variable. Don't take my word for it. That's my experience on this lens with this body, is the pulsing is fairly bad in regards to the eye tracking, which is a shame. We can still get some shots though, and I'm sure I'm still getting shots. It's just that you will become frustrated with the autofocus. You're going to be constantly pressing it and to get it back onto the subject, taking bursts. So you're going to get a mixture of soft and sharp shots. So it's just the way it is. See if we can't make a shot anyway, something interesting. These grebes are very accommodating, and we don't have any wind on the water, which is creating these beautiful reflections. And it's just a beautiful morning. Really? You have to be so noisy? A couple of corellas letting us know about it. I don't think rain was forecast somehow, Brian. I've got a wood duck. I've just spotted it across the road here. So I just spotted it. Oh, it's on top. But we got some shots of the wood duck on the old dead tree there, which is cool. Again, the autofocus seemed to work better because it was a further distance away. Well, that was cool. I was happy to get that wood duck. It was a bit unexpected, and it happens, you know, as you're wandering around, just got to keep your eyes open for sort of shapes, and that's often what I'm doing. I'm just spotting shapes where there shouldn't be, and over time your skills build up and you can spot a bird pretty quickly on a branch or a perch or whatever. And it's just a matter of having your camera ready and lifting it up and taking a few shots. All right, well, I think Brian and I might go look for these antechinus in these overcast conditions up on the hill, so we might go and do that now. So you know you're in Australia when kangaroos are blocking the road. So I'm currently in the car and there's a galah on the side of this tree and it's rubbing itself on there. I don't know what it's doing. So I spotted 2 kangaroos on the side of the road and I've engaged the eye tracking, and again it struggled. It just couldn't lock onto the eye of the subject. It's gone to the grass, back to the kangaroo, then off it again. We did manage to get some sharp shots, but it was just frustrating to use. We've moved up into a patch of bushland and we've met up with a fellow YouTuber, Derek, and he's let us know about a sacred kingfisher pair. So they're currently landing on a perch here. Hopefully we'll get some shots of the kingfishers as they land on here. Fingers crossed. So the kingfishers are flying around and landing on different perches, and we've got a few wide shots over here, which hopefully turn out all right. I wouldn't mind doing one a little bit closer. That's the goal anyway. You hear these cockatoos. So I was excited when a kingfisher landed on the perch not too far away. I quickly engaged eye tracking, and again the AF just struggled, losing focus constantly and grabbing the branch and would just not stick to the subject. I used spot autofocus, but the tracking would then engage. Or what I should have done is just disable tracking altogether in this scenario. And then I might have actually noticed that the bird was at the bottom of the frame and I needed to actually readjust to put it into the center of the frame. But the final result, again, was very, very good. It's nice and sharp, plenty of detail, and holds up well considering the crop. So we just had the kingfisher land on the perch. How good's that? So we got a few shots. It's awesome. All right, I just want to give a quick shout out to my mate Derek, who actually showed me where these sacred kingfishers were. He has his own YouTube channel, so Derek, let the audience know where your address is and how to find you.
Simple, Derek Hilton.
Derek Hilton, if they just
Yeah.
you go on YouTube for Derek Hilton. He's the anti-kindness expert, and he's been very kind to share with me the location for where they are and a number of birds, so it's been a really awesome morning and we've had a great time. And Derek shares his travels and explores around Australia here in Victoria and takes lots of photos, so be sure to check him out. Thanks, Derek.
Thank you.
No worries. All right, well that brings the session to an end. Thanks again to Brian for lending me the 150 to 600. Yeah, just had a great time. Well, unfortunately the audio died just as I was filming that outro, so I'll recap my thoughts now on the Sigma 150 to 600 on the R6 Mark II. My overall feeling is just kind of disappointment, to be honest. I'm just annoyed and disappointed because this lens is so good. It's super sharp. I love the photos I got from it. It gives us 600 millimeters, which is quite a lot. It's fast enough at 6.3. The value is impeccable. It's amazing, but, and it's a big but, it just doesn't work properly on the R6 Mark II. The autofocus, especially up close, it just hunts, it loses focus, it does not stick to the subject. I can't trust it, therefore I'm probably not going to use it. In saying that, if you photograph mainly far off subjects, it's not going to be as big of an issue for you. And again, I need to stress, this is the only version of this lens I have used. Perhaps other lenses aren't impacted as bad as this, so it could be variable. Let me know in the comments if you've got the R6 Mark II and any third-party lens, how are you finding the autofocus? I would love to know. I think it was pretty obvious to you and to me that the autofocus just wasn't suitable for my style of wildlife photography, which is just a real shame, to be honest. And I don't think this issue is going to be fixed anytime soon. Sigma have created this lens for the EF DSLRs, and for that it works perfectly. And Canon, they have no real incentive to fix this issue because they want us buying RF lenses. So I think we just have to deal with it for the time being. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I had a lot of fun filming it. I loved the photos. Let me know which was your favorite. If you like this video, obviously give it that thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more of this content. And of course, thanks to all my beautiful members. If you don't know what a member is, for the cost of less than a cup of coffee per month, you can support me directly. You get a cool little bird next to your name, you get custom bird emojis, and it just helps me create this content, which I'm very, very grateful for. So until the next video, happy birding, take care, see you later.